Pardon the viscera. One should cherish all of nature's bounty, but goblin guts are quite far down the list. You aided a bear without knowing if it would savage you. A true friend of nature. Or perhaps a lunatic. Either way, I owe thanks. I am the druid Halsin.
You're Master Halsin, first druid of the Emerald Grove. Praise Sylvanas for saving you.
It is you who should be praised, sister. You are Sylvanas' instrument. And please, just Halsin. I will not demand honorifics of my savior.
I've been to the Emerald Grove. It's in grave danger, it sorrows me to say.
I am aware. I foolishly left it vulnerable to this rabble. There's work to be done. That look in your eyes. I've seen it before. Are you feeling all right? Oak Father preserve you, child. You're infected, aren't you? The Mind Flayer's spawn. But something's different. You're aware of the monster inside you. You don't bow to the Absolute like the true souls do. How is this possible?
I think this artifact has something to do with it.
That looks very alien. As alien as the Mind Flayers. They do not belong on this world. It's no coincidence that you found me here, I'll wager. You're after a cure for this parasite. I've been studying these parasites for a while now. Ever since I discovered these so-called true souls are infected with them. Someone is using very powerful magic to modify these tadpoles. They're using them to exert control over the infected. I'm sorry to say, I can't undo that magic, which means I can't cure you. But that doesn't mean I can't help. I didn't find what I came here for, a way to remove the tadpoles, but I found the next best thing. I found out where they come from. That must be where these enchantments are placed on them. And it's where you'll find your cure.
Tell me what you've learned about the tadpole's origins.
I overheard that the cultists are sending all of their captives to Moonrise Towers. Innocents go in, true souls come out. Given that all of these true souls are infected, it has to be the source for this magic. If you want to find a cure, you must head there and discover how the tadpoles are being manipulated.
You seem to know a lot about this. Will you come with me to Moonrise?
I wish I could, but there's still work I've yet to finish. Blood I've yet to spill. I've no right to ask more of you, but if you could help me, I'd be free to join your journey to Moonrise. I cannot allow these butchers to threaten my grove. The natural order must be protected.
All right. How do I help?
My thanks. If you prevail, I'll owe you the debt of a lifetime. Rare is the beast that survives decapitation. Help me eliminate the Drow Minthara, the hobgoblin Draw Ragslin, and that perversion of a priestess Gut. They are the ones holding these parasites together. Remove them, and nature will cure itself.
Having a shape-shifting bear druid at my side might make things easier.
Be warned. My presence could make things more difficult. I can only restrain my bear form so much. I won't be able to help but attack goblins. If I join you, we'll likely have to slaughter this entire place. You may want to use discretion when approaching the goblin leaders.
Come with me.
So be it. May Sylvanas lend us nature's fury. You actually did it! The leader's dead! Praise Sylvanas. No, that's not right. Praise you, my friend. The Grove owes you a debt beyond measure. Killing's never my first choice, but those three were too dangerous to leave alive.
I need your help.
And you'll receive it soon enough. Return to the Grove. I'll make my own way there. I can see to some matters there, and we can discuss what comes next amidst more bucolic surroundings than here. You took it upon yourself to undertake the Rite of Thorns. I ought to exile you from this place. Forever. Instead, I shall listen to the explanation that you owe me.
I owe you nothing. Goblins swarmed us like roaches while you stumbled after the past. You chose to abandon us. I chose to protect us.
Silence! The rite has been ended. I will allow you to stay, but consider yourself a novice anew. You have forgotten the ways of the Druids, our place in the natural order. You shall learn it all once again, right here. Backslide, and nature's fury will crush you.
As you wish, Master Halsin.
Is such mercy wise? She strayed from your teachings once already.
She knows now what cavorting in the shadows brings her. She will not stray again. Besides, this is no time to lose a promising druid. You will soon see why. But enough of that for now. I owe you my thanks. The grove stands. Nature prevails. And again, I am in your debt. Speak to Wrath. He will reward you for your efforts.
The grove is nature's beating heart. I was glad to help save it.
If only you had come to this place in more peaceful times. You'd have been a welcome addition.
What happens next?
The journey to Moonrise Towers, and all the dangers that entails. But that's tomorrow's problem. Take some time for yourself tonight. Rest, celebrate. Come morning, I'll be by your side. Go on now. Don't waste a night like this talking to me. We'll discuss your problem tomorrow.
I thought you might care to have a drink with me.
In truth, I rarely imbibe. The stuff goes right to my head. Before you know it, I'd be breaking into song or declaring love to the first person I laid eyes on.
Perhaps there's something else you'd rather do then?
I'm sure there are. You strike me as extremely resourceful. But there are many grateful people here who want to spend time with you. I must not keep you all to myself, as enjoyable as that may be. Go on, enjoy yourself. Seek out some wine before it runs dry. There are a lot of thirsty people around here. Enjoy yourself tonight. I'll come and find you in the morning so we can talk. I trust you enjoyed your evening. After all your efforts, it was well deserved. It may be some time before you're afforded another such night. There is much to be done, and I promised I would help you however I could. I'm certain a cure for you can be found at Moonrise Towers, but it's complicated. The journey specifically, it's extremely perilous, though it seems you're well accustomed to navigating danger.
I suppose it was too much to hope we were going to be cured here and now. To Moonrise, then.
What's so dangerous about it?
To get to the towers, you'll need to pass through a terrible place. A cursed place. This curse shrouds everything in shadow. You will not find life, light, or anything natural there. Any who linger are twisted by the curse. They become shadow beings. Tormented, dangerous souls.
What do you suggest?
You could go overland, along the Risen Road or through the mountains. Easier at first, but you'll run into the Shadowcurse eventually. You could also go under. There is a tunnel somewhere in the ruined Temple of Selûne. It leads to Moonrise Towers through the Underdark. Long ago, a man called Ketheric built a secret stronghold deep down there, before rallying a whole army of dark justiciars. Shah worshippers.
Dark Justiciars. I must see for myself.
Aridin and his lot were looking for a way down there. They were promised riches if they retrieved a relic called the Night Song. But I think there's more. From this stronghold, Ketheric's forces could access both the Temple of Selûne and Moonrise Towers. But he was defeated before he could launch an attack. If you can find this place, I'll wager it will reveal a more direct path to Moonrise Towers. And maybe even bypass the worst of the Shadowcurse.
I don't want to risk getting lost in the Underdark. I'll journey overland.
You may reconsider once you see the effects of the curse for yourself. I would like to join your camp, if you'll allow me. I can offer my skills, my counsel. I've long sought to return to Moonrise Towers. It seems our fates have aligned.
Let's go then.
I advise you start in the Temple of Selûne. If you find the Dark Justiciar's hidden entrance, it could lead you all the way to Moonrise. One of the adventurers had a clue to help find it, a dwarf called Brian. It might still be found on his corpse, wherever the goblins left it. May Sylvanas guide us. Oakfather's blessings to you.
I have to ask, how do you know so much about the parasite?
I studied one up close. Closer than most would care to be to those things. A drow attacked me and I defended myself. Afterwards, I was able to examine the tadpole that emerged. Hideous, but fascinating. Like nothing else in nature, I'm glad to say.
How will the grove fare without you?
Hopefully. I've chosen a successor as first druid, Francesca of the High Forest. I sent a bird to summon her.
I'll trust your judgment.
If only everyone said that. The Grove needs to move beyond the mistakes of the past. What it needs is an unknown quantity. An outsider who can enforce the Oakfather's teachings without bias. This is why I chose Francesca. She will restore simplicity and purity to the Grove in my absence.
Sounds like the grove will be in good hands then.
Indeed.
This Shadowcurse you spoke of, surely it can't be that bad.
It's had the whole region around Moonrise Towers in a chokehold of darkness and despair for years now. Those who remained are shadow-cursed. If you don't die at their hands, then you become one of them. We have to get to Moonrise, but the less time we spend in its blighted surrounds, the better.
What about this secret stronghold in the Underdark? You must know more.
Precious little. But I'm quite certain it can still be found. Aridin was convinced there was a hidden entrance in the Temple of Selûne. I'd start there.
Why do you want to go to Moonrise Towers?
Those illithid creatures threaten the natural order. It's my duty to do what I can to stop them. There's also the Shadowcurse. It's an affront and must be cleansed. I helped overthrow Ketheric Thorm and his Dark Justiciars years ago, but I failed to prevent him from unleashing darkness across the region before he was defeated. If I can join you and get close to Moonrise, perhaps I can lift this curse, just as you find a cure for your infection.
Seems like you feel responsible for this Shadowcurse somehow.
Well, there's hardly anyone left to share the responsibility with. Few who witnessed the fall of Moonrise still draw breath. What Ketheric Thorm unleashed is not something that nature can undo by itself. I must do what I can. I studied the Shadowcurse for years, but to truly understand it and stop it, I must reach its source.
Do you know how the Shadowcurse can be stopped?
Perhaps, but we'll need to get closer before I can put my theory into practice. Put it from your mind for now. Once we near the curse, then there will be more to be said.
Is that why you went with Aridin? You thought he might find this route to Moonrise?
Precisely. Then perhaps I could have done something. about both the Shadowcurse and Ceremorphosis aberrations. But in my eagerness, I put far too much faith in the abilities of Aradin and his band. We didn't even get close.
It can't have been easy, surrendering your title. Won't you miss being first druid?
Miss it? Oh dear, no. It's a terrible burden. Takes you away from nature and forces you to deal with others' problems and personalities. Be wary of anyone who actually wants such a role, I say. Likely they don't understand it, or they have ill intent. I'm just glad to be out here amidst the Oak Father's creations.
At the celebration with the Tieflings before, I hope I didn't come over too strong. Got caught up in the moment.
There are few things that are too strong for me. And cast those regrets aside. You did not get caught up in the moment. You seized it. In other circumstances, I would have done the same.
You'd have done the same?
Perhaps. But best to not dwell on nights past. There are plenty more yet to come.
How are you faring here at the camp?
With such stimulating company? Never better. The Shadowcurse is upon us. As foul as I remember it. Perhaps even worse. But with the Oak Father's blessing, we may soon see it banished from these lands.
Do you know how the Shadowcurse can be stopped?
This land is more than just soil and rock, root and leaf. It is a living being, in the form of a young fey boy, with the forest itself in his eyes. His name is Thaniel. I've met him in my meditations, but since the curse was unleashed, I have not felt his presence. He is its prisoner, I fear. And as long as he remains so, his domain will lie in darkness. But if we can find him, we can break the curse. If you learn anything of the Shadowfell, or of a boy with the forest in his eyes, find me at once.
What should I look for exactly?
I can't be exact, unfortunately. Time and the Shadowcurse won't have been kind to any traces that would have been left behind. A living witness is unlikely, I'll admit. But perhaps there'll be an unliving witness, or some lingering echo of what we seek. Don't worry. If you find something, you will know it.
These lands must bring back bad memories for you. I hope you're still faring all right with us.
It's not easy, seeing the ravages of the Shadowcurse. But your camp is a most welcome solace. You've shared your fire with me, your company. A small pocket of light against the darkness. But one I couldn't do without. Thank you.
Is there something I can do to take your mind off things, perhaps?
I can think of a thing or two. But in truth, it is for the best that the curse consumes my thoughts for now. This is the best chance I've had in a century. I cannot squander it. But if I succeed, if I break the curse, then perhaps there will be time for myself again. And for others.
Not another ward, I hope. I'm better at subterfuge and spellcasting than babysitting.
Who are you babysitting?
Wouldn't I like to know? I've asked the fellow many times, but he's not in a talking mood. Judging by his uniform, he's someone of import. He was here, fresh from the shadows, when Isabel banished the curse here. Jaheira warned the others to steer clear, hence why I'm on door duty. You, on the other hand...
Why steer clear? Is he dangerous?
Don't think so. But we don't really know one way or the other. Better safe than sorry, Jaheira'd say. He clearly needs help, but we're stretched thin as is. He's just inside, if you want to give him a once-over. Thaniel and me are climbing up a tree.
Thaniel? That's the very lad, or spirit, that Halsin needs to find.
I know that name. Halsin is looking for Thaniel.
Thaniel.
Perhaps I can identify the song.
It's from no songbook you know of. Likely an original.
You're a musician, aren't you?
Lute.
Perhaps I can observe his condition.
The patient is physically well, but psychologically detached, dissociated from himself.
He's been in the Shadowfell. All memories will have been stripped away. We need to remind him who he is. Some personal effects, maybe?
Lost in the shadows all this time. He must have left some part of himself behind. Something we can use.
I'm going to help you, all right?
Thaniel and me are climbing up a tree.
Assignee, art color. Rank, flame. Objective, to obtain information about current activities in Moonrise Towers and its environs, headed by Ketheric Thorm of the region's ancestral Thorm family. Orders, take lodging in the Last Light Inn and begin investigation in the local House of Healing. Reports indicate corruption, but no corroboration has yet been obtained. Note, the region's Thorm family are long-standing devotees of Selûne, but rumors indicate a Sharan enclave might be gaining momentum. Investigate and report. Signed, Grand Duke Elton.
You wish to speak?
There's a flaming fist at Last Light. The curse has left him insensible, but he's muttering about a boy called Thaniel.
He is? Then I must see him. Insensible or not, he knows something. I will go to see him at once. Join me when you can.
Thaniel and me are climbing up a tree.
It's true then. He's met Thaniel. There's no other way he'd know that name. This is just what we needed. Well done. We need to wake him. He must know something about where to find Thaniel.
Any ideas?
If he was able to escape the Shadowfell, then it mustn't have managed to consume his spirit. Well, not all of it anyway. We need to unlock whatever's left of him, inside his head. There must be something to trigger him. A word, a memory, an item. We just need to find it.
Sounds like we could be looking for almost anything to wake him.
I'm afraid so, yes. Check his person. There might be something on him to help us get started.
There must be another way to lift the curse.
Without Thaniel, no. And I don't know how I can find him without speaking to this man.
I'll see what I can do.
I don't deserve you, my friend.
Thaniel and me are climbing up a tree.
He keeps saying Thaniel's name. He must know more. We need to rouse him.
I found a lute. It seems to have belonged to the Flaming Fist.
Good. Its music might help restore him. Show it to him.
I should take it out and play a little.
Thaniel! He's still trapped there. He needs help.
Calm. Breathe. You've been trapped in the Shadowfell for a century. Take a moment to clear your mind.
A century? You're Halsin. Thaniel said to find you. You must help him, please.
I will, but I need to know where Thaniel is. If I venture into the Shadowfell blind, I will never find him.
I'm not sure I can put it into words. The landscape there shifts and changes.
Was there anything that could offer guidance? Something that didn't change?
Lavender. Whenever I saw Thaniel, I always smelled lavender.
I can work with that. Rest now. Meet me by the lakeshore. I have what we need to proceed, but I'll need your help. Be ready. This may prove perilous.
Thaniel will be so scared there alone. We looked after each other for such a long time. I hope he's all right.
You're here. Good. Now we can begin.
First, I want to know what to expect.
Thaniel is trapped in the Shadowfell, but thanks to your efforts, I know where to look. Now I must go there, alone.
Hold on. Shouldn't I come with you?
No. This opportunity has been 100 years in the making. It has to be me. And only me. But I didn't bring you here to witness an old druid's grandstanding. You have a part to play in this, and I trust you will play it well. With the Oakfather's blessing, I can infiltrate the Shadowfell, but doing so will sap my strength. I'll need your help if I'm to return. I need you to stay here, keep the portal open until I return, and defend it at all costs.
Going in alone is... I'll come with you.
No. If there's any interference with the portal, then our one chance is lost forever. And so am I. I'd rather have you by my side. But this is the only way. It took me years of study, of seeking the Oakfather's favor, to find a way to part the veil. Pray that this works. Oakfather, hear me. Aid me. Force open the jaws of darkness. Make passage for your vessel of light. It's ready. I'll return with Thaniel as soon as possible. Stay close to the portal. Buy me what time you can. It's done. I have him. But something's wrong. Dreadfully wrong. No. It can't be.
Is he dead?
No. But some part of him is missing. He's hollow. I need to examine him back at the camp. Come see us when you can. Thaniel is resting, but it's no easy slumber. I discovered what's wrong with him. The shadows rendered him in two when they bore him away to the Shadowfell. Half of his essence remained here, amidst the curse. What stayed behind would have been the strongest part of him. But after all these years left in the darkness, corruption must have taken hold.
Tell me how I can help.
It's both simple and not. We need to find Thaniel's missing half and make him whole again. Only the missing half may not come willingly. The curse will have sunk its tendrils deep, twisting Thaniel's essence into something else.
Any ideas on how to find this missing half?
No matter how it's been twisted by the shadows, it is still part of Thaniel's essence. It will resemble him somehow and may show signs of his power. Look for signs of life in the darkness, wildflowers where everything else is dead. The curse cannot subdue the power Thaniel bears. Not entirely.
In fact, I saw just the sort before, not long after we first came within reach of the Shadowcurse. Fool that I am, I did not grasp their significance at the time. There is a ruin some way outside of Last Light. I caught a glimpse of fresh blooms there, but did not investigate further. I shall mark it upon your map.
All right, leave it to me.
This doesn't have to be your burden alone. Every moment counts, and I've asked much of you already without being at your side. If you want me, I'm yours. Against the curse, against the absolute... anything. Just say the word.
Join me.
Good. Now our roots can deepen. Together.
Boo! I scared you! I saw it! Nobody beats me at hide and seek.
That's him. Like an echo of Thaniel, remolded by the curse. We need him if we're to put a stop to all of this.
Will you play with me?
I know who you really are and where you really belong. You need to reunite with Thaniel.
Spoil sport. I'm not going back. I like it here. I've made a family for myself. I get to play all the time.
This land needs you and Thaniel together, Oliver. Nature needs you.
You can't make me do anything I don't want to. I won't let you.
He's fled. We need to track him down. Wherever the curse is the strongest, that's where he'll go. That's where he'll feel safe.
Why couldn't you just leave me alone? Why can't I just stay here playing? I had everything I've ever wanted, right here. And you've ruined it. I'm not leaving. You can't make me.
Be gentle. He's much more than a child. But he doesn't truly know that.
You don't have to leave. All you have to do is lend Thaniel your strength.
He's nothing to me. He left me here all this time. I had to do everything for myself. Even when it was scary, even when I was alone. I didn't give up.
You were very brave and resourceful. Think of how much you'll be able to help Thaniel.
But would he even want me back? I've changed. A lot.
Of course he'll want you back. It's nature's will. You're meant to be together.
So I wouldn't have to be alone anymore. He'd stay with me. Play with me. I'd like that. And he would too, I think. All right, I'll do it. I want to do it.
Well done.
Are you crying? You're a bit big to be crying. But I suppose that's okay. Bye. And thank you for playing with me.
It's done, at last. Soon the land will be unshrouded. We should return to Thaniel when we can. It is done. Now Thaniel will be whole again. I could not have done this without you, my friend. We should return to camp when we can. I must see how Thaniel is faring. With the Oak Father's blessing, the Shadowcurse may soon be no more.
The druid Halsin spoke to me while I was sleeping. He spoke of you. Said that you fought shadow and spite to restore me. 100 years of sickness almost ended. I feel every root that riddles the earth beginning to unfold. But there is one anchor, still holding the shadows in place. The soul that brought it into being. for the land to heal. Ketheric Thorm must die. Ketheric's soul still nourishes the shadows. Destroy him, so the land may heal. So that I may heal.
Oakfather preserve you.
I met a peer of yours, the druid Jaheira. Do you know her?
Only by reputation. She was present when we marched against Ketheric Thorm, but on the far end of the battle lines from where I fought. And in the chaos that ensued, well, our forces were scattered. I led some to safety, but never learned of her fate. I'm glad to hear she survived. Though in truth, I should not be surprised. She was always said to be formidable and cunning. I could have learned much from her, no doubt.
You seem to admire her greatly.
There is much to admire, judging by the stories. I cannot help but wonder how she would have handled some of the challenges I faced as Archdruid. Would she have helped the refugees? Defended the Grove? Controlled Khaga? At least now we can benefit from her presence, and perhaps work to a common goal.
You've spent all these years fighting the Shadowcurse. What happens once it's lifted?
Honestly, I never thought I'd make it that far. But the Absolute is a threat to all, and I promised I'd help you with your parasite. So, I'll remain with you. If you'll have me, that is.
Of course. I only wish you'd joined me earlier.
So do I. But one duty at a time.
How am I holding up in your estimations?
Given the circumstances, you're faring as well as can be expected, I suppose.
I feel like I haven't gotten to know you properly yet.
It's true, and I can't imagine I helped with that. Sometimes I let the task at hand consume me, and people think I'm obsessed. Trust me, the day I no longer have to talk about the Shadowcurse will be a happy one. What would you like to know?
Don't take this the wrong way, but you're quite large for an elf.
I am? Trust me, it's been said. You show more restraint than most in avoiding the subject until now.
Any idea how that came about?
Who's to say? Perhaps there's a half-orc buried somewhere in my ancestry. Or perhaps not. Sometimes I think conventional wisdom is too narrow about what someone can or cannot be. Stranger things have most certainly happened.
How did you come to be a druid?
I had a friend when I was young, long ago. He played with me in the forests where I grew up. But eventually, I realized no one else had heard of him. It was Thaniel, of course. Nature was my very first friend. I get older, but he hasn't changed a day. I knew then that I had to be more than a companion to him. I had to be a protector.
Do you have people out there somewhere? Family? Friends? A lover, perhaps?
You're not a doppelganger, are you? Trying to study me to learn all my secrets so you can take my place? Save for me, my line perished a long time ago. They rest in high forest now, near the shade of the grandfather tree. The Grove became my family, with Sylvanus as my teacher. And now I have you.
I'm sorry for your loss.
It was a long time ago. The wounds don't heal, but they become more bearable.
You didn't answer the part about lovers.
I'm 350 years old. Of course there have been lovers. Just because I love nature doesn't mean I'm betrothed to it. Though sometimes, nature needs reminding.
Don't leave me hanging. Is there someone in your life right now?
Right now, I bed down alone, I'm afraid. Perhaps once I talk less of curses and parasites, my fortunes will improve.
Hold on. Nature needs reminding of what exactly?
Well, I didn't pick this scar up in battle. I was in wild shape, only I forgot it was the season when bears are particularly social. A she-bear claimed me as her own and did not appreciate being spurned.
Tell me something about yourself that I wouldn't even think to ask.
I suppose you wouldn't be shocked to learn I love animals and nature? I know, well-trodden territory. Well then, let's see. I whittle in my spare time, and I've something of a sweet tooth. Although everyone's very amused when I say I like honey.
Whittling? What do you make?
Ornaments, utensils, and ducks. I like ducks.
You're fortunate to know what you like. I wouldn't pay any attention to what others think.
You're right. Sometimes I think people look at me and imagine my feelings can't be hurt.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank me by returning the favor, why don't you? Come on. I'm sure you've something better than carving wooden ducks.
I live in mortal fear of krakens, though I've never actually seen one.
Well, they are fierce creatures from what I understand. But as long as you avoid the high seas, I think you can consider yourself safe.
That's enough for now.
Anytime.
What happened before, when the Shadowcurse was unleashed?
Druids and Harpers joined together to put a stop to Ketheric Thorm. We marched on Moonrise, and after much fighting, we prevailed. Even in defeat, though, Ketheric turned to Shah. Not long after we sealed him away in his tomb, the Shadowcurse took hold. No one had seen the likes of it before. No one knew how to react. Then it started to claim all those within its reach. Those who had survived the battles now fell to the shadows, became part of the shadows. And worst of all, I lost contact with Thaniel. I wanted to try and find him, but we couldn't stay. We would have all succumbed. When the Archdruid of the Grove, my predecessor, was seized by the curse, I had to lead the survivors to safety. That was my first day as Archdruid. An inauspicious beginning.
Inauspicious? Sounds like you did what you had to, and saved lives.
You are right, but I must not lose focus until everything has been put right. I've wasted too much time already. Years in which nature has suffered. Thaniel rests well. He's healing very rapidly, now that Oliver has returned to him.
I'm glad I could help.
I knew I could put my faith in you. If only we had met sooner.
So when will the curse actually be lifted?
I can't say for certain, but we'll see it come to pass long before this place recedes behind us. Don't worry. All is at hand. We can depart whenever you're ready.
What happened to Oliver exactly? Did Thaniel absorb him?
No more than my right hand can absorb my left. Oliver is helping Thaniel to recover. They both lie dormant, like trees awaiting spring. Once the curse is lifted, they can stand as one or as a pair. Whatever they wish, I hope they will remain as a pair. It will be good for them both to have a friend, once I'm gone. Still, I would like to return here someday. See Thaniel and Oliver again. In my meditations, or perhaps in person, if the Oak Father wills it. I hope he does.
What now? You've got what you wanted after all.
I have. But perhaps there is more that I want. Anyway, once the curse is lifted, nature can take its course without me. I belong at your side.
This more that you want. What is it?
Not what. Who. But all in due course.
When Duke Elton formed the Flaming Fist, he sought out people of courage and honor to fill its ranks. You saved Thaniel, lifted the curse, and killed an immortal. It's safe to say you'd have been recruited in an instant.
I grew up hearing stories of Duke Elton. I'm curious about what he was like.
Gruff and intimidating. But he had the courage of 10 men, and the love for Baldur's Gate few could match. I don't know if this Duke Ravengard is the same, but I will say this. The Flaming Fist are the cornerstone of the city, and the Dukes are its foundation. I hope you can save him, for the good of Baldur's Gate.
Come with me. I could use a flaming fist by my side.
Thank you. But look at me. I am a relic, a glimpse of history barely strong enough to stand on his own 2 feet. Besides, Thaniel should have someone here when he wakes up. It's the least I can do.
Once we leave, this place will be pretty empty. Will you be all right?
You don't have to worry about me. The truth is, the Shadowfell broke something inside me. Something no healer can fix. I don't know how long I have, but because of you, Thaniel is safe. Because of you, I could help him as he helped me. So, thank you, my friend. And know that I have no regrets.
You did it. Ketheric Thorm is no more. The Shadow's grip is broken. Soon, the land shall heal.
I'm glad I could help.
Not as glad as I am. Nature moves at its own pace, and bestows its bounty when it sees fit. Give it time. A reward shall come to you when you need it most. Your path leads away from me, I sense. Be safe. Perhaps one day you will see the fruits that your victory has sown here.
I swear, I can already feel a change in the air. Like the curse itself knows its time is short.
The curse has been lifted. The land's cleansed of the shadows. Ketheric's reign of living death is over. Your courage has been tested, and in this at least, you have triumphed.
Oakfather preserve you.
How am I holding up in your estimations?
I've been unfair to you. I've had unrealistic expectations of your character ever since I joined you. But honestly, You've surpassed even those. Seems my faith was more than well-founded. For a while, after the Shadowcurse was lifted, I felt hope in a way that I hadn't felt in years. I thought that nature would heal and balance between it and civilization could be restored once and for all. Yet since we neared the city, I've seen more and more signs that I was being naive. Refugees, orphans, the downtrodden, all being left behind. If such sorrows are the fruits of civilization, perhaps there can be no true balance between it and nature.
What do you mean?
Look around us. You will not have to search for long to see exactly what I mean. That poor girl, Yenna. This city will devour her as sure as any wild predator would do. Be it through malice or just neglect. Her fate will be sealed by this place. Society should be judged based on how they treat their most vulnerable. Baldur's Gate may deserve harsh judgment from what I've seen so far.
What do you think could be done to help?
I wish I knew. Truly. A problem for another day, perhaps. I just hope there is another day.
Have you heard from Thaniel since we moved on?
I have. He speaks to me during my nightly meditations. He is well. And Oliver also. At times they are one, and at others they divide. Easier for playing, perhaps. And the land thrives also. I doubt you would recognize it. Perhaps one day, you and I can both return and see it for ourselves. I never quite realized how burdened I was until I met you. The threat of the Shadowcurse, the politics of the Grove. I was forgetting who I was. But you lifted the fog. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're too modest. I wager you don't even know how extraordinary you truly are. But I do. I have lived a very long time. I have taken many lovers. My heart does not stir lightly. But it does now.
I thought you were bound to nature.
I still have hot blood in my veins. Nature gifted us our desires, and the means to act on them. But we muddied its beautiful simplicity with rules, social strictures, clothes. So, I am not bound to nature. I am unbound in nature. I want more than to fight at your side, or sit around the campfire with you. I want to lay with you under the stars and feel your skin against mine. But tell me I'm wrong, and the matter can rest. I do not wish to sour our friendship, but I have to know if it can be something more.
You're not wrong. Far from it.
I was concerned perhaps my imagination was playing tricks on me. My stomach was in knots like some lovelorn 90-year-old. If we do this, I need you to understand exactly what I do not ask of you. I will not ask you to dedicate yourself to me. I roam as nature wills me to, and your heart remains your own. I just wish to share in it.
You can share in my heart, and a lot more besides.
When the others are sleeping, we'll slip away together. And we won't get much sleep.
You came. I was concerned you might have had doubts. Or that this might have all been too soon.
Why is the big, strong Archdruid Halsin nervous? Adorable.
Perhaps a little. Do you know how hard it's been for me to contain myself? I'm almost frightened to touch you. If I give in, I may not be able to stop until I've devoured you.
I trust you.
As I do you. But nevertheless, I will be gentle. Or at least, I will try. Just as nature intended. Come here to me. Forgive me, I lost the run of myself. Sometimes, if blood runs hot enough, it's difficult to tame the beast.
Don't apologize. I like it.
You like it?
Something to keep in mind for another night. But for now, come here.
Well, I need no further encouragement. More?
Yes. Change back again. Let me have the beast, and the beast have me.
Are you certain? It will be untamed, vigorous, and, well, large.
Just imagine we're back in the woods, and I'm your prey.
My heart soars just to look upon you. What do you need?
I just wanted to see how you were faring.
This city troubles me, but I am here for you. I want to be by your side and see this through.
How do you see our relationship?
Relationship? Such terms belong to civilization. A little unfamiliar to my lips. You know what we share is more fluid, more founded in the principles of nature. You should feel free to roam as your heart desires. You are all I want, but I will not hold you to myself. Let others know the happiness of being with you.
I wanted to speak to you about the night we spent together.
That was something I had dreamed about for some time. And now I realize just how woefully meager my dreams were compared to the reality. I would still be there with you now, if the sun hadn't intruded on us and the city hadn't stirred for the day.
I'd been dreaming about that as well. It was perfect.
No, don't say that. Perfect would mean there is nothing left to explore, and I see plenty to lose myself in.
I would have stayed. The populace could do with a show. Take their minds off things.
I had heard the municipal laws regarding large animals had been struck down. But still, perhaps we were wise not to push our luck. This time.
Perhaps a bed next time, just to be different.
I am open to anything. If you can find a piece of furniture that is up to the challenge.
I feel closer to nature, now that nature's been inside me.
We were as one. The warmth of your skin. The feel of your... I must be careful, or I'll lose the run of myself again. An archdruid should show some restraint. Speak to me, lover.
May I kiss you?
I was hoping you would ask. Was there something else you wanted, my heart?
How about another kiss?
Come here to me. I received a dispatch from the Grove. Life carries on there in our absence, just as nature intended. My chosen successor, Francesca, has proven to be a wise choice. Perhaps the wisest I ever made as Archdruid.
Don't downplay your achievements. The Shadowcurse would still hold sway if not for you.
One grand victory may not be enough to absolve a host of small failures. That is where true leadership lies. Not in winning a single vast battle, but in fighting 1,000 smaller ones. Making 10,000 difficult decisions. Finding balance where none seems possible. Day after day. I was all too eager to surrender my responsibilities towards the Grove. Perhaps I was never meant to be Archdruid. To be a leader.
You served the Grove well, and found a worthy successor. No one can ask more of you.
Still, though, I cannot help but wonder if there was more I could have done. Perhaps, Oakfather willing, I may yet have the chance someday.
Grove aside, I'm glad you stayed with me.
As am I. I can scarcely imagine life without your company now. And, of course, I made a promise to help you. One I intend to fulfill.
You could resume your position at the Grove once we've defeated the Absolute.
I thought that would be the case once, yet Perhaps the Grove will not need me.
Not everyone is meant for leadership. There's no shame in walking away.
Indeed. But I have roamed far and wide for years. Whole lifetimes. I have seen much, done much, learned much. It would be a shame not to pass that on. Forgive me. The Shadowcurse occupied me so entirely and for so long. I almost missed the purpose it gave me. Now I must find a new one.
The city of stone and steel is an endless scream in nature's womb. I have felt no peace here. Until now, your eyes, Stira. There is pain, endless and deep, but also devotion, blazing like the sun. You're in love. Are you not?
I do love someone. Someone close to me, actually.
You are wise to admit it. When it comes to love, vulnerability is armor. Truth, a sword, and trust, a shield. I pray you wield all three, Stira. Bring the one you love to me. I will look into your hearts and see if your love is eternal or doomed eternally.
What do you think, Halsin? Shall we put ourselves to the test?
Gladly. We each know the other's heart to the fullest. There is little to fear here.
Close your eyes, little ones. Be still as stone to earth. And remember to breathe. I see you. I see the bond between you. So tender, so fragile. But do you see it for yourselves? Halsin, nature's gentle steward and furious defender. Listen, think. When is he most comfortable?
Comfort doesn't come naturally to him. He's restless and roaming.
This is the truth. I live for the wilderness. Comfort is for the farm animal, snug in its pen.
Hear how your bond thrums with pleasure. Strong, vital, pulsing with affection. We strive to do our utmost, to prove ourselves worthy. Tell me, of what is Halsin most proud?
Saving his friend, Thaniel, and banishing the Shadowcurse.
This is the truth. I sense I will never surpass that moment, when nature awoke from its nightmare.
The sweetest loves dance lightly on the tongue, but now we must dig deeper, into the most painful reaches of the spirit. Life is full of victory and loss. You cannot have one without the other. Halsin, what is his greatest failure?
Allowing the Shadowcurse to blight nature for 100 years.
It is true. Nature suffered while I dawdled, and allowed myself to be distracted. The curse is no more true. But imagine if I'd been faster, bolder, better. Lives would have been saved. More than I care to count. But I must move on. Nature demands that I do. I had high expectations, but even still, I am impressed. You may know me better than I know myself.
How close you are. Two hearts beating a perfect rhythm. But I know the truth. Only one face haunts your dreams each night. Close your eyes, sweetness, and she will come to you.
So, you're the lick-spittle who crushed the Bone Lord's thrall. Have you come begging, sniffing for our stones? Gortash won't like that. A throat his black hand can't choke the spit from. Oh, your bond will not save you. He will wrap its cord around your neck and make you swing from it. When you find the Lordling, tell him Orin is watching.
That foul shapeshifter Orin is like a scavenger beast, probing us for weaknesses. Do not let her shake your resolve. I had hoped there might be a greater sense of balance within the city. That its walls might enable sheltering within it to foster community, peace. Yet it is not so. Unnatural steel beings patrol the streets. The printed word sows discontent, and those in need are treated with disdain. Is this truly what progress looks like? Sometimes it is difficult to see exactly what we are fighting to save here. Sometimes it feels like Khaga was right. Nature can only survive away from all this.
I don't think you truly feel that way. You've always believed in balance.
I do. But at times like this, it can feel like an impossible dream.
Perhaps that's true. Your way of life could thrive in isolation.
Survive, perhaps. I am less sure about thriving. To be part of the world, you must be connected to it. True balance cannot be achieved unless all is accounted for.
It's a moot point unless we manage to stop the absolute.
Indeed. But I cannot shake it from my mind, all the same. I was harsh on myself before. On my leadership of the Grove. The decisions I made. Perhaps too harsh, considering this place.
My. I can tell you are a special one from a single glance. You have but to ask, and we can grant you a moment of pleasure. Don't be shy.
An intriguing pair. Takes me back to my youth.
Interested, Halsin?
More than interested, if you feel the same.
What kind of services do you provide?
What do you think, silly? Love, of course. Hot and vulgar with me, or sweet and sincere with my sister. Trust me, you don't want to miss my signature Mesobaranzan love trick.
And is that your partner with you? What a gorgeous couple. Perhaps we could come to an agreement.
Agreement? What kind of agreement?
We want both of you, silly, at the same time.
So long as all are willing, I see no reason why we should deny ourselves.
Charming.
There must be a sprinkling shower of gold first. Coin.
Let's go. This is thrilling. Quite the merry little party we have assembled here. Shall we? I hope you're not afraid of the dark, my darling. I must snuff out the lights before we begin. It's all part of the experience. The room is bathed in total darkness, so there is nothing to distract from your ecstasy.
The lady, Nim, moves your hand to where the clasps of her blouse lie.
I can't quite believe it. A night of passion with the famous Halsin. I might faint before I can expend myself.
Legends spread of you throughout the city. We heard tell that you can change into a bear.
I hadn't realized I was that popular. But we must give the people what they want, mustn't we?
Will tonight at last be the night I die during an act of pleasure?
I should jump atop Halsin and ride him around the room.
Fur tickles your bare nethers as the two drows scream in terror and delight. The drow are filled with awe at your and Halsin's habits throughout the night, time and time again.
You wish to speak? I am here for you.
I don't think those two drow will be forgetting us in a hurry.
Indeed. Our time with them was certainly bracing. Takes me back to some youthful misadventures in the Underdark.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself.
Very much so. One positive I will concede about city life is that you never know what lies around the corner.
I was concerned the city watch might burst in on us, thinking a bear was running amok, devouring flesh.
Well, in a sense, there was. But no harm done. In fact, one of the drow looked like he was going to pay us towards the end.
You mentioned something about the Underdark?
It was a long time ago. I was a foolhardy young druid, intent on seeing the beauty of nature's unworldly fauna and subterranean glow for myself. Certain events transpired, and I found myself a guest of a noble drow house for a time. Well, something between guest, prisoner, and consort, perhaps.
I'm not sure if this is a fond memory or a cautionary tale.
The passage of time has a strange way of polishing even the most arduous of memories into precious keepsakes. Had circumstances been slightly different, I may have been put to work in mines or killed outright. The house matron took an interest in me, and the patron also. They saw me as a novelty, perhaps. I was chained in their bedchamber for nigh on 3 years.
3 years? That's awful.
It was not ideal, but not without its positives either. I did what was necessary to survive, and perhaps a few things that were less than necessary. Don't misunderstand me. I feared for my life and wanted my freedom back, but I was willing to wait for my moment. And eventually, it came. Lolth's noble houses are constantly at each other's throats, and eventually, some rivals of my hosts sought to unseat them. It was chaos, drow against drow, the clash of blades echoing throughout caverns, the feel of warm blood that I could not see. I took my chance and fled while all were distracted. I never looked back until I breathed fresh air again. And never learned what came of my hosts.
Sounds traumatic. You may need to reflect on that.
Time can prove to be a trickster on one's recollections. What would be multiple lifetimes for others now separate me from my captivity. Perhaps I have lost perspective on what happened to me.
It's not for me to say. I wasn't there. But I'm here for you now, if you wish to talk.
I have not had true confidence for some time. The Shadowcurse robbed me of almost all my peers and replaced them with the weight of responsibility. Perhaps that caused me to gild undeserving memories of my youth. I am lucky to have your counsel. It was sorely needed.
Think nothing of it.
No, I shall not take you for granted, nor my own past. What is the point of long life if one does not make room for reflection? The end is upon us, my heart. One last battle to decide all.
I need one last kiss, for luck.
Of course. But it shall not be the last. We shall triumph. Our time together does not end here.
How are you faring?
With the end upon us? So long as I'm surviving, and I have you by my side, I am faring as well as anyone can be.
You think we can win?
I know we can. Think of all that we've already survived. Our foes should quake to see us approach them. In battle for the last time, I did not want to presume we would survive. To feel your touch again seemed like a distant dream. That made last night all the sweeter.
Not to mention exhausting. I don't know where you get your energy from.
Do not be so modest. You gave as good as you got.
Why do I get the feeling you're about to say goodbye?
Because I am. At least, for now. Part of me wishes we could stay in this room forever, you and I. But there is a new dawn breaking, and I have a part to play.
Forget the world. Stay with me.
I cannot. No matter how much I want to. The wars of late have left many with nowhere to turn. Many lost their families, their homes. Some never had them to begin with. They need help. Help that this city cannot provide right now. I shall aid them to make a new place for themselves. In Thaniel's realm, under nature's watch. Now is the time for us to take care of each other. Already people are gathering to depart. The promise of a new life inspires great haste. At last count, there were 9 whole wagons of children in tow. They are my duty now. Daddy Halsin, they call me. Who am I to tell them otherwise?
It suits you.
Better than Archdruid ever did. The old teachings could not have foreseen this world. I can see a new way to serve nature now. A path that all can follow if they wish. You must visit as soon as you can. There will be much for you to see, and not a soul among our numbers who will not wish to praise the savior of Baldur's Gate. And well, I shall have my own selfish reasons for wanting to see you again. If you wish the same.
I do. Trust me.
Then I will watch the horizon for you each day, and fix your image in my mind each night, until I feel your touch again.
Halsin was eager to leave the city after the Netherbrain fell, although you remained for a 10-day to help the wounded. Some of them accompanied you when you left. Their homes were rubble, and the promise of a sanctuary sheltered from the city was appealing. They helped to build the place you now call home, hidden from those who are not welcome, open to any who need shelter. One day, Halsin returns from a patrol of the borders with a letter held in his jaw. You read it to him as you scratch behind his ear, an invitation to a gathering of your friends and allies, those who stood with you against the Absolute. The gathering will not be in the city that you saved, though. It will be where your adventures together began.
I was eager to attend tonight, yet I cannot help but fear that it may be a mistake. Do you know what I speak of?
If you're worried about neglecting your duties back home, don't be. They'll manage for one night.
Oh, to have your confidence. You must think me like a mother hen. All these months, and I haven't been away from what we built together. There's a whole community out in Thaniel's realm that has never known a day without our presence. Being away from it, I cannot help but worry how they will fare in our absence.
They'll survive, and you deserve a change of scenery.
I just hope the children get by without me there for their bedtime stories. Tell me, are you happy with the path we tread together? I took you from a life of high adventure to one that can be described as, well, anything but. I thought perhaps that seeing everyone once again and hearing of all that they've been doing, it might awaken some regret about the life we lead. You could have done anything, gone with anyone, yet you chose me.
Honestly, I was expecting you to be the one with regrets. Don't you miss roaming free?
I thought I would, but in truth, no. Roaming has lost its luster now that I have somewhere I truly belong. Perhaps my true nature was waiting to reveal itself with your aid. I just hope you share in my contentment.
I have no regrets in any case. I chose a life with you and haven't looked back.
I am glad to hear it. Forgive an old fool in need of a little reassurance. I am still expecting to stir from the dream. You must be eager to speak to some of the others. I shall be fine. Do not allow me to keep you.
Might I trouble you for a hug?
Of course. If only we could stay like that forever.
I wouldn't say no to a kiss.
I live to serve. The day I weary of those lips is the day I weary of life.
Be sure to mention Oliver and Thaniel. People will be eager to hear how they're faring, no doubt.
Of course. Seeing them free and happy may be my proudest achievement. And now they have more playmates than they could ever wish for. To make a child smile is to dabble with the power of gods, as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Go on and enjoy yourself. I'll find you later.
Be sure to take your own advice. This is a special night. For all of us. You cannot bear to be apart from me, I see.
Was that a bear joke?
Oh no, perish the thought. I can barely imagine stooping to such barefaced pun-mongering. The children's sense of humor is rubbing off on me, perhaps. I sense tonight is a night I will look back on fondly in years to come.